Hi friends, welcome to another RedditRev episode. Please subscribe and hit that like button if you're enjoying the content, and please share it with your friends if you can. I'd really appreciate it. Also, please leave me a comment to let me know what you think of the episode. Now let's get started with today's stories.
I cheated on my wife, deeply regret it, want to change and try to fix my marriage. Some background information. Please note that I am not trying to justify any of my actions, because quite frankly I am disgusted by my actions and behavior. I suffer from moderate to severe depression and have extreme self-esteem, self-worth and financial inadequacy issues coupled with a bad alcohol problem. I've been with my wife for over 8 years. She is my best friend and I love her dearly. We have had on and off issues and problems over the years, mostly stemming from my personal issues. Last year I had a brief affair with another woman. I had gotten belligerently drunk and slept with a woman I had been working on a project with. I barely remember our first interaction and immediately got physically sick afterwards. A few weeks later I told her that it was a mistake and that I loved my wife and that it could never happen again. Things were hard between my wife and I. There were things I said I felt like I needed in our relationship. Things to help me with my esteem issues. I wanted to feel wanted and desired by her. I wanted her to initiate our intimacy. I would constantly try to initiate only to be rejected on a near daily basis. I spiraled into a deep depression because it felt like my wife didn't want anything physically to do with me and would only let me in order to get me to stop trying. Again, and I cannot stress this enough, I am not trying to justify my actions one bit. Months went by and the woman started texting me highly suggestive pictures of herself. I should have nipped it in the bud then and there. But I didn't. I was weak and liked the attention. I liked the feeling of being wanted and desired, which was something that I hadn't felt in quite some time. Over the span of roughly 4 weeks I engaged in an emotional relationship and sometimes physical. We did some fooling around. I don't recall us having sex during this period, but the woman claims that we did. I honestly don't know, as I was drinking heavily during this period of my life. But mainly the relationship was one talking. We would text and occasionally go to lunch together. We would engage in sexting and image swapping. During this time I got very angry with my wife and we argued constantly. I felt ashamed at my actions and upset with her because I had only wanted what I was getting from the other woman from my wife. The attention and feeling of being wanted. Ultimately the other woman and I ended our relationship over the guilt, stress and emptiness I was feeling. I tried to focus more on my marriage. Over the following 6 months I tried to be more positive, more attentive and more caring, hoping that my wife would recognize this and our relationship would improve. But it did not. I recently found out that it did not due to my actions towards her during the especially bad period. But I had started to spiral again into my deep depression. During this time another woman had contacted me on social media. We began talking and I fell back into my bad decisions. Although we never slept together, we would still sext and swap images. This started a vicious cycle with me. She would say things that would make me feel good about myself. Afterwards I'd feel terrible and guilty and lower than low. Then she'd message me saying more nice things and make me feel good again, and so on and so on. But it was still empty. It was ultimately meaningless since I had only truly wanted those things from my wife. Right as I was about to end that once and for all, my wife found out. She was devastated, and rightly so. I cannot believe what kind of person I had become. Since all of this I have been cleaning up my act. I have almost 90 days sober, quit smoking pot, quit smoking cigarettes, and am currently seeing a therapist to help me get to the root of my problems so that I will never ever do any of the terrible things I've done ever again. I don't want to be the kind of person that betrays the person I love and care about most in this world. I'm trying to be a better husband and partner. I want to try to make amends and to try to fix the damage that I have done. But I don't know where to start. How do I go about proving to my wife that I love her? How do I show her my regrets? How can she believe that I can change? That I only want to be the husband that she deserves? I love my wife so much and I can't believe how far I fell. I just don't know what to do. My wife is my life. TLDR, I'm a weak POS who made terrible choices and betrayed the only person I truly care about due to extremely selfish reasons. Edit, I am diagnosed and currently take Zoloft to treat my depression. We are currently in couples counseling, and I feel like we are benefiting from it. Also, a few months ago, I gave her the passwords to my phone and social media accounts. I'm trying to be as transparent about everything in my life as I can. Next story. I regret beating up the man my wife cheated on me with. I, 35M, found out my wife, 36M, had been cheating on me 2 years ago. A mutual friend pointed out some suspicious behavior and suggested I confront her. I came home unexpectedly early by design and caught them in our bed. While he dressed and tried to leave, she broke down and started trying to explain herself. At the time, I was so angry that all I wanted was to hurt something. I've never considered myself the type of man to hit a woman, so I followed the guy out and beat him before he could get into his car. I left him there, bleeding and hurt, and stayed with my brother for a while. Over time, I came to realize that there were a lot of problems with our marriage. I wasn't supporting her the way I should have been, and she had been distant with me. The cheating wasn't just another problem, it was a symptom of all the problems we already had with communication, expressing affection, and initiating connection. We weren't putting any work into our relationship, and we were falling out of love. She cheated, and I ignored it and her. We went to counseling together and started putting in real effort to tackling our problems and building our relationship. It's been just over 2 years of hard work, but now we're better than we've ever been. Recently, my wife told me that she truly appreciates how calm and self-aware I was when I caught her cheating, and that just removing myself from the situation had been more maturity and grace than she deserved at the time. At once, I both realized she didn't know what I had done to that man and was reminded of my regret. I had felt bad about it before, but I justified it because they had hurt me first and I was just staking claim or whatever on my woman. Now, that isn't doing it for me anymore. I feel regret for the physical harm I caused this man I didn't know, this man who in my mind was just a symptom of and a wake-up call to the problems with my marriage. I feel like a violent, cruel man for hurting him as badly as I did. And I feel like a liar for letting my wife believe I had that maturity and grace to leave, when really I had the opposite. This is beginning to really eat at me, but I don't know who I could tell when I'm so ashamed of myself.
I hope you enjoyed our video. It's always a pleasure creating these stories, and if you liked what you saw, please take the time to show your support by giving it a thumbs up and subscribing if you haven't already done so. Sharing with your friends is also greatly appreciated. Let me know in the comments section below what you think of our videos. I'm all ears. Be sure to check back soon for more original Reddit stories every day on RedditRev. Until then, stay awesome, my friend.